Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mega Agent Monday. Today I have with me the famous Miguel Maria.
I don't know about famous.
Well, now you are, right? How
Thank
are you,
you.
Miguel?
Excellent. What
Awesome.
about you?
Thanks for joining.
No, thank you
Super
for having
pumped,
me.
excited. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about who's Miguel Maria, your real estate business.
Well, my name is Miguel Maria. I am the head of the Miguel Maria team. Married, 2 kids, been in the business for 12, 13, maybe 14 years on different aspects of real estate. From the investment side to appraising to being a real estate agent. So that's a little bit about me.
Very background, love and you always have the on-spot branding, right? So love that. You walk around with your branding everywhere. It's really cool.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about, your lessons in real estate, because you've been in for 12 years. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in this business?
It's not as easy as people make it seem. Definitely. It's
simple, but not easy, right?
Correct. This is no reality TV or HGTV where you can sell a house overnight or flip a house, in a week or so. Definitely a journey. Definitely that if you follow certain systems and procedures, you'll get to where you want to go or where you want to get. And it's just a matter of organizing yourself and be able to progress little by little. You start seeing the progression. It doesn't happen overnight.
And we've seen your progression, right? From the time you kind of arrived here at KW to where you are today. What do you attribute that growth to?
To KW.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that. And specifically what, Miguel? Like, what were some of the things you did? Because I remember early on and the conversations we had and no database and then setting up things like what did you do?
So I joined KW on the end of January of 2019.
Perfect timing, right before pandemic.
Right before pandemic. So my production on that year actually decreased a little bit, and it's normal because I went from to a big change from one company to another. I got to get my KW mentality and all of that. But the year after that, in 2020, I more than doubled the production from the year before. So I was extremely excited about that. Last year, we increased our production by 25-30% from the year prior, so it's still growing. And the main reason, if you ask me, is because I honestly started listening to what we preach, to what KW teaches and show you, and the MREA book talking about systems and models. I read also a different book a few years back where is, if I remember correctly, the name of the book is From Good to Great. What got you here won't get you there. And everything, how you read a book one time and you get certain things and then you read it again and you get different ones depending on the state of your life that you're on. So that kind of happened to me. Everything started clicking. And one of the things that I learned from Mega Camp in September of 2019 was how the whole Keller Williams family was excited about Command. And I wasn't really using a database. I always had a really, really good clients that always refer me business and always come back to do more business with us. But when you start using the database and you start talking to people and you start reaching out to the clients that you already work with intentionally, then you see the type of growth that I was able to experience a year or so back. So Command was the biggest aha moment for me from joining KW.
Awesome. Well, we just came back from family reunion.
Yes.
And we were there with, 10,000 of our friends, right? A lot of people didn't get to see you guys a lot.
Yes.
What was the biggest takeaway from that?
I can tell you that I was literally going to the hotel every night with a headache. And it wasn't because I was...
It's a good headache or a bad headache?
I was going to explain. And it's not because I was hangover, but the amount of information, the amount of excitement, the amount of people that were a whole different level that it's just hard to really believe that you can get to those type of sales volumes, right? My biggest aha and to see that many people, to see that convention center packed with 12,000 agents, when Gary Keller was on stage and see those big screens, that was incredible. And the biggest aha session after session was how other agents were doing the volume that they were doing by reaching out to their friends, their family members, their previous clients. Again, the database.
The database,
And
right?
the events that they were doing for the clients. So that's one of my goals for this year is to start doing events for clients.
And I know you started that, and then of course pandemic hit, and then that was kind of like put on hold a little bit.
We were going to do our very first event, which was going to be Easter for 2020.
For 2020.
We had everything pretty much set up. The park was already booked, all the decor and that type of stuff. And then obviously we had to cancel because of the pandemic. So we put those events on hold. But this year we're definitely one way or the other, either virtual or kind of a hybrid between virtual and real. We have to get started on that. We have to go back to normal. We have to go back to what it used to be before 2020. So
Awesome. Well, it looks like we're headed in that direction. So fingers crossed, praying that's where we go, right?
yes.
So tell us a little bit about, I know you have a second part of your business, right? So you have your traditional real estate side, and then you have your investment side. We've had conversations around Airbnb, not our crypto stuff. We'll save that conversation for another day.
For another one, yes.
For another one. Let's talk a little bit about, because you have an Airbnb business as well.
Correct. So I consider myself not just an agent, but a real estate entrepreneur.
As your shirt says.
There you go. Although I have to change the CEO. The CEO is not here, it's my wife. So
that's awesome. Smart man, she's gonna watch the video.
She's the real boss, by the way. But yes, we hold a few different companies, all real estate related. We flip properties, and we have the side of the Airbnb investments. So we are, for me, in my humble opinion, in the best business there is. Multi-million-dollar people, billionaires, always are looking for how to invest money, and they typically go for real estate. And being in this business as a realtors and not taking advantage of the information that we have and how exposed we are to certain opportunities, it will be a waste of our time. It will be a shame.
Yeah.
So
we build our wealth.
Correct. With that said, my wife and I have been investing in real estate for quite some time. We hold some properties for our own portfolio, and 4 or 5 years ago, we started investing in what it's mainly common as Airbnb or vacation rentals. And we've been doing really good returns. Typically, you'll see a rental income of 2 or maybe even 3 times the amount of rent that you'll see on a typical long-term lease. The difference is it's a very hands-on kind of business. I mean, the property management on those properties are completely different than a long-term rental. And this is one of the responsibilities, or where my wife actually comes in. She's a property management. She went to college for hospitality, and that is basically her main focus now, is to manage the properties that we own for Airbnb, as well as the ones that our investors have on their own portfolio.
Awesome. So the agents don't have to, if there's an agent out there that wants to start buying and doesn't know where to begin, what would you give them as advice to start? Like, what should they be looking for? So I can only advise on what we believe. That's how I feel I've been successful in our business. It's always giving an honest opinion to our clients. So on that note, I'll do the same. What works for us is bigger properties. I don't want to have a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment that I'm going to be competing to the hotels, right? One of the reasons why people choose Airbnb or VRBO or the
one of these vacation rentals is because number one, they're going to have the whole family together in one big house, and second, it's typically cheaper than going into a hotel.
Right, the multiple rooms at a hotel. Sure.
Correct. So typically our properties are anywhere between 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, close to the beach, close to the downtown area, and we try as our best also to be as close as possible to the airport and the port.
Awesome.
Obviously, the cruise industry, as you know, has taken a huge hit because of COVID, so that's still kind of in between. But when we started, I think a year and a half or maybe even 2 years right before the pandemic, we were having great success from people that were traveling and or the properties that were getting booked the weekend because people wanted to come for the nightclubs, the everything that Miami and Fort Lauderdale have to offer.
Sure.
And then during the weekdays, typically the reason that they were coming to book was because they were either coming before the cruise or coming back from the cruise, and they wanted to spend a couple days to experience Miami.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, it's really a good segment, and it's a good opportunity for the agents who are watching. If they wanted to get involved, what to look for, how to get involved. We're going to be bringing some things further, some classes on particularly investing in not just real estate, but vacation rental properties. We own same thing, and it's been phenomenal. So
yeah, well, I don't know if you know it, but or if you remember, I remember right when I came into KW, you were doing a presentation on the Sheridan movie theater, on one of the movie theaters.
Okay.
And I started asking you about the vacation rentals, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to take one of our properties and test it into an Airbnb before we were gonna offer that type of opportunities to our investors. So I wanted to have skin on the game. When I offer something to a client, it's because I already experienced it or I already tried it, and if we did well, then I'll go and tell a client, listen, I think you should do this and that because of this was the results that we experienced. And thankfully we had great success with that.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Okay, well, you're welcome, and thank you for sharing that information with everyone. So it's really cool. Miguel, as you kind of look at what you've done so far in real estate, what are you most proud of accomplishing so far? And I know how humble you are, but tell us what you're proud of accomplishing.
So this is a very rewarding job or profession. I love what I do. So I go to meet with, we're in a birthday party or whatever, and somebody asks me about real estate, and my wife just make a face, oh my God, here he goes again. I love what I do. So the good thing about loving what you do is that you don't work, you don't ever work. And the lifestyle that we have been able to create for our family because of real estate, it's what I'm most proud of. I mean, I go to our kids, bring your dad to a school date or something. And when my son was like 2 years old, we were doing a flip, and I took a video of him and I told him it was demo day. Demo. So I told my son with 2 years old to kick a wall, and it was just a sheetrock that we put there, and the sheetrock came down, and he was just jumping and going crazy because he kicked the wall.
Yeah, he thought he kicked the wall. That's awesome.
So to have those type of experience, involve the kids into real estate from an early age, to be able to go on a vacation whenever I want to, as long as I still check in with my team, I still check with the clients. They know that I have my phone with me all the time, but we can still just change the scenery. So the lifestyle that we've been able to create for our family, it's amazing. And for our own clients, recently we flipped a property, and I was the flipper, I was the seller. And when I went to pick up the logbox, and the new owners were there. And oh my God, Miguel, thank you so much. You guys did an amazing job with this house. It was their first home ever.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it doesn't get old. I mean, yes, you make money making the flip, and yes, you see the transformation. My wife is the one that does the core, right?
Okay.
So we see the transformation from before and after. That doesn't get old. But that feeling of that buyer, that new owner, when they were able to buy this house, that in the previous condition, they wouldn't been able, it wasn't even financiable, it doesn't get old.
Well, you just changed that family's financial trajectory as well.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It doesn't get old. It doesn't matter how much money you make on the flip. If you lose money or make money, we made money, by the way. But
that's the goal of business, right? That is the goal.
Yes, but it's a win-win.
Yeah,
it's a win-win. So,
absolutely.
And that's what one of the Keller Williams pillars, right? It has to be a win-win to make sense.
Or no deal,
or no deal. So that's beautiful. That's great.
Okay, so what's next for you?
Keep growing.
Keep growing.
We
So are
just
you looking for team members? What do you tell me? What are
so
you looking
we
for?
literally just hired an ISA or
Okay.
a team lead manager. He
Great.
started yesterday.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's brand new.
Brand new. We're looking for another admin and an event coordinator. Like literally, I came from family reunion. As I say, I'm gonna put a lot of things in practice. I'm just ready to continue to grow.
Keep driving and running.
Yes,
I
that's
love
the goal.
I love it. What would be one piece of advice as we wrap up here that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Join Keller Williams.
Besides that, my friend, because they may be here already.
Okay, so the ones that are already here, focus. I think that's we cannot be chasing a shiny object. You know, what works for you may have worked for somebody else differently or for somebody else different. You have to find what you really like, what your passion is, and then focus on that. Once you're there, you know, just count on it. Is that the proper term? Yes.
Yeah.
So just continue and continue. There's a lot of people who have failed, I don't know, hundreds of times until they get it right and they succeed. I think one of the problems that we have, especially younger generation, is that they try one thing one or twice, they
And
give
then
up,
move
and
on to-
that didn't work, and they
Right.
switch for something else. So focus, perseverance.
Perseverance, determination. Sounds like you're pretty determined.
That's the goal. Well, my wife, it's like right behind me. So yes.
Love her. There's nothing like what makes a great partnership work, right?
Right?
That's it. That's
So-
what it is.
Yes, so she's constantly asking me, so what are the sales this year? How are you going with the goals? We were actually here on Sunday working. We went to have breakfast, maple biscuit. You have to try Southern. If you like Southern food, amazing. It's a new place in Pembroke Pines.
Okay.
So we went there at 8 in the morning, we had breakfast, and then we came here until 2 p.m. on Sunday. People will think, oh my God, working with your wife. Listen, we don't work all the time,
Right.
but we have those type of
The planning
meetings,
sessions, the
planning,
meetings, right? It's about your family, it's your
financially
life.
speaking.
Yeah.
What are we doing with this type of money? What are we gonna buy a multifamily now, or are we gonna buy another Airbnb? And we have fun. I mean,
love
we
it.
argue and we have fun. So
That's
it's
wonderful.
it's. But we're on the same
If you
page,
didn't argue, you wouldn't be human. That's
right?
the truth.
But we are on the same page.
Good.
A
That's
lot
important.
of couples, it's like they're in one side, they're on the other, or he's pulling left and she's pulling right. It's not. It's just gonna stay still. It's going nowhere. So we have those type of meetings to make sure that we understand where we're coming from, where we are, where we're gonna go, and what kind of legacy we want to leave to our kids.
That's huge. It's all about that legacy, right?
Changing.
I love it.
We're changing. My goal is to change our financial. What's it called? Our family financial tree.
True. That's
That's-
it.
That's the point.
I think you're on your way.
That's the plan. I heard once somebody said you have to leave enough money to your kids for them to do whatever they want, but not so much for them not to do nothing.
Anything.
Or
Right.
anything.
Yes.
So-
100%.
That's it.
I've seen that. Good. Well, you're on your way, Miguel. Thank you so much for being here. This was awesome. Loved
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Hope you guys learned something. Get out there and make it happen. Go get in your lane. Focus on one thing before you start focusing on 5 things. Have an awesome week. See y'all next time.